deep in the ESPN tape library, the worldwide leader in classic sports launched a series designed to take a new look at old games. They called it Cheap Seats with Ron Parker. Parker, an anchor with attitude, was helped thanklessly by tape librarians Randy and Jason. The show was slated to go all the way. But moments into the first show, tragedy struck. With Ron on the DL, somebody needed to step up, like Gehrig for Pip or Brady for Bledsoe. Sitting 2 and 3 on the hosting depth chart, that someone was Randy and Jason. That is their story. And this is Cheap Seats without Ron Parker.
Hey, welcome to Cheap Seats, the show that picks up where my two dads left off. Except we're not going to teach you any life lessons. Instead, today we're going to be showing you the 1992 High Rollers Bowling Tournament and the running of the bulls. Two sports that share a common bond. They each sit on the wrong side of the alcoholic fence. Now, the amateur bowlers that we're all going to be seeing today are all stone cold sober. And this flies in the face of conventional amateur bowling wisdom, which states the more drunk you get, the more pins you knock down. It's physics, man. Conversely, the running of the bulls is a tradition steeped in drunken machismo. Well, we all know you're going to want to have a clear head when fleeing a one-ton beast, as evidenced in When Animals Attack 1, 2, 4, and My Big Fat Obnoxious Fiancé. Now, let's check out the 1992 High Roller Tournament first. But before we get you out there, here's what you're going to want to look for.
Here's what to look for. Here's what to look for.
This is an amateur event. However, Paul Renteria, who participates in the event, was a pro bowler from 1986 to 1990. Then he became an amateur again, which, how do you do that? Yeah, that's like being a virgin, then having sex, then deciding that you want to be a virgin again. It just doesn't add up. Unless you're Britney Spears. And with that, let's pick up some spares, amateur style, at the High Rollers Tournament from 1992 in Las Vegas.
ESPN presents...
Are they bowling in Tron?
The High Roller
They're
Tournament.
gambling, too?
The very best in amateur bowling competition. Hello, I'm Steve Grad. Welcome to
Do you think Steve Grad finished college? It'd be ironic if he didn't.
Where bowlers from all 50 states and 5 foreign countries are competing for over $2 million in prize money. That's right, $2 million in prize money.
Thanks for the fingers, Steve. You didn't know what you meant by the word two.
They're all amateurs. And one of them will have taken home $200,000 by the end of this telecast. That's life-changing money.
Okay, when did this become that real estate infomercial?
A couple of interesting semifinal matches. Mike
Nerd.
over teenager Rob.
Mushroom Head.
213 to 160. And then Paul Renteria.
Axe Murder.
197 to 167.
Burnout.
Frank.
This is it. This is the match for $200,000.
That's life-changing money.
It's $100,000. Paul Renteria on the right. And Mike Taylor on the left.
Renteria rocking the Iverson sleeve, which goes nicely with the Yager hair.
States and 5 foreign countries. Battling in the final
What?
match.
Someone call my name? Damn these voices in my head!
Confidence is such a factor in bowling. And this man has a confident look on his face.
Look at those eyes. El DeBarge is L-focused and little L bloated, if you ask me.
It's very important. Making good shots, keeping a steady head, and that was a great release.
Looks like Joe Polnicek got the afternoon off from Edna's Edibles.
Paul has a daughter he's very proud of.
But still maintains his amateur parent status.
I wonder if she bowls. What do you think?
Probably not. At least not professionally.
What'll he do with the $200,000? He says he'll use.
I got 3 guesses. wine coolers, fishing lures, and a brand new Flowbee. I will win for my brother Edgar and the rest of the Revolution. Got her. Oh, turned it around on us. Yes! I was once a pro. It feels good to clap again.
In there. That's Melinda Wilder, his girlfriend and his inspiration throughout this week.
Just this week? Yeah, next week after he wins, he'll dump her. We'll find her hanging out at Mike Taylor's bowling alley.
Mike Taylor sitting down.
Can't they give these guys better chairs? I mean, there's more comfortable seating at Fenway Park. Jay, you just don't understand, all right? That's the way they're going to do it in the 21st century. It's all about uncomfortable seating. In the future. It is the 21st century right now, Randy. Miss it. Ah! Damn professional.
It's on a track.
That's my boyfriend for the week. When he dumps you, can I get a crack?
Tell you what.
Now, a bowler's relationship with the ball is a very special bond. Sure, it's like jockey to horse. Like baseball player to bat. Like fridge to hot dog. And each bowler has his or her own individual pre-frame ritual that celebrates this bond. Let's take a look at some of the more interesting ones from around the amateur ranks. Welcome back to Cheap Seats. Now, you know our show's only a half hour long, and 7 minutes of that are Bowflex commercials, which leaves us with 23 minutes, and that's not nearly enough time to show you all the amazing amateur bowling action in this tournament, so we had to cut some stuff. That's right, but we saved the most dramatic highlights of what got cut in a little section we like to call... You missed young Robert Smith rocking the Continental Shelf haircut. And I think he used the hand dryer at the end of the lane to dry the top part. Any way you slice it, his head looks like a giant mushroom. Paul Renteria took a moment of silence before bowling. Oh, great mullet in the sky. Give me the strength to win. Amen. Bowler Mark Frank braved the sweltering heat. Frank is sweating more than Patrick Ewing taking a spin class on the equator. And Steve Grad interviewed Star Trek's James Doohan on the state of bowling. Captain, I cannot reset the pins any faster. I've given her all she could take. Okay, so let's get back to the 1992 High Rollers tournament as Mike Taylor takes his turn against the mighty Paul Renteria. You complete me. I wonder if his other balls get jealous. Now you're kissing that red floozy of a ball? I thought I was the only ball in your life.
An 11-pin lead to start after Renteria left the first frame open. Now he's down by 23. There's a pocket shot.
He should be celebrating, but he looks like he's suffering from irritable bowel syndrome.
Strikes in a row, I'd be thinking, this is where this guy starts every match with a string of strikes. And I can't let up.
How is he not ready yet? It's bowling, and his ball's already up there. Someone should put him on the clock. Call 3 seconds. Hand check. Illegal defense. Slap him with a T. I'd do it just for the stash.
So let up.
Paul Renteria with a 4-bagger as he begins his 6th.
I wish I were dead.
By 23 pins.
Ooh, it's the no-look, smell-my-finger maneuver. That is the ultimate sign of disrespect in amateur bowling.
You entered this tournament.
Is Robert Smith making out with Joe? Wait till Tootie hears about this.
That's right. There you go.
Sam the Psycho from The Apprentice. Sam, you're hired to promote amateur bowling.
It's just hard for me to imagine anybody, I don't care how experienced, how good a player you are, the top professional is throwing the ball as well or better than Paul Renteria is throwing the ball right now.
That's because Renteria is both an amateur and a pro.
He wanted a reset.
Renteria calling for the reset. I'm sorry, folks, but that's showboating, all right? And that's going to be 15 yards assessed on the ensuing kickoff.
Up by 33 pins.
I remember the good old days when bowling cost a quarter and hiding in your neighbor's bushes was just a misdemeanor. Good times. We must do whatever it takes to stop the terror. Now watch this strike. Boo, yes.
I tell you, with that broken bone in his hand, even those hand slaps afterwards, have to...
I'm on to you, Renteria. You can't fool me or my beard.
We begin Mike Taylor's 7th frame for the championship.
Sweep the leg, Paul. Yeah, get him a body bag.
Taylor down by 43 pins to bowl.
Should that towel say days in on it?
Renteria has 6 consecutive strikes.
Pink-shirted Kirk Herbstreit in the background.
Trying for a double.
Come on, nerdy Keith Hernandez. Win one for the amateurs. Or do that. Amateur. Okay, so you want to do the trophy thing now, or should we wait?
You could hear it hit the lane. It actually kind of bounced a couple of times when it left his hand. Remember, it's very warm, humid here. And there's
yeah, let's just do it now.
And that happened.
That's Renteria, right, with one end? Yeah, just got to get it right for the 6-foot novelty check.
The pins. This time that didn't hook enough.
And I think he remembered that shot. It was on the same.
I've got fleas. Fleas, I tell you.
Just move it over a couple.
Dad from Frazier having his space invaded by Richard Jewell.
He can shoot at this point. Mike Taylor is 212. He needs to strike out, get 212 to put any kind of pressure at all on Paul Renteria.
And he's light again, and he's got a sleeper back there.
Yeah, so do we.
And barring an earthquake or someone dying on the approach, Paul Renteria is going to win this tournament in $200,000.
It's even less likely than that. Paul has to die on the approach, not just someone. And even then, there's a possibility that the corpse might slide down the lane and hit something.
Came in from behind, missed again.
I think he's kind of given up right now.
Mike Taylor is clearly upset with himself, but really, he shouldn't be, considering the fact that he's an amateur and he got his butt whipped by a pro, even though both competitors were supposed to be amateurs. Yeah, it must have been really confusing for the bowling commission to decide if someone was a professional or not back then. However, we know of a couple of guys who have several foolproof ways to determine if someone is in fact an amateur bowler. Fellas? If you've ever worn a pair of bowling shoes to your sister's wedding, you might be an amateur bowler. If you've ever kissed your bowling ball with tongue, you might be an amateur bowler. If you've ever used the hand blower to dry out a urine stain, you might be an amateur bowler. If you've ever bowled, ever, you might be an amateur bowler. Welcome back to the 1992 High Rollers Tournament on Cheap Seats. Let's get back to the action and see if Paul Renteria has the killer instinct to finish off this match. And enough VO5 to finish off that ape drape.
In the 230s. Want to thank Chet Henson.
Boy, he's anxious to get that check. Yeah, he's acting like it's going to bounce in an hour.
What the heck? It's all done.
This whole final match was like the U.S. playing Algeria in the basketball championships. Call Alicia Silverstone. We got a mismatch. You watched that show? No.
Is going to take home $200,000.
Yes. Okay, she understands the complexities of relationships. What?
Paul, on behalf of the Showboat and the High Roller, here's your check for $200,000. You both.
That's life-changing money. Now go change your life.
I'd like to thank Showboat.
Well, it's nice to see that even in an amateur bowling tournament, a pro can still win. Right now, we're going to switch it up and go to beautiful Pamplona, Spain, for an event that makes even less sense. Ah, Pamplona, Spain, where the livestock runs as freely as the liquor.
It is 7:30 in the morning in Spain, and
You know where your hijos are.
the course for the running of the bulls in Pamplona.
I told your mother to meet me at the curve, and now I have no idea where she
And
is.
getting set for the long sprint down here. This is just outside the Plaza de Toros. The
Which is
bull ring.
adjacent to the Benicio del Toro.
Back to back, belly to belly, elbow to elbow, all set to go. De nuevo.
Attention wardrobe department. Sport coat would have been fine for either of them.
Oh, and I am Kathleen Murphy, and I am very impressed with your Spanish, by the way.
Muchas gracias, señorita.
All right, that's bastante.
The annual running of
We've
the
been here
bulls
for
from
everyone.
Hey, let the lady
How
talk,
many
buddy.
sporting events can you say that about? Well, this festival might be more than several hundred years old, but some things have stayed exactly the same. It is
Pamplona's
one of the
homeless still
big
find it to be the most inconvenient week of the year.
days in a row, and the bulls run every morning at 8 a.m. A lot of drinking, a lot of partying, no violence, no fights.
Yeah, right. No violence, except for the torturing and slaughtering of the bulls in front of the throngs of bloodthirsty lunatics.
Calm down, and everybody gets along pretty much, even with our camera people, as you can see. Oh, let me come right up and give you a nice kiss.
Please don't.
It might be one big festival, as you can hear right now, but Hemingway saw it, and anyone else who's been here can feel it. There's still a beauty and a grace that underlies Pamplona, and that beauty and grace lies in the bulls.
Noise, noise, noise in the morning.
What? Okay, toss to commercial.
And sometimes we're stopping to see how much noise there actually
Exactly.
was. And there was a lot. Everyone's, you can't tell
Okay,
always what's
yeah.
going on here.
No idea what the hell you're talking about.
Toro, no, not the Toros. The one
What
thing
they've
we can
done.
pretty sure is they
Take a look at that rocket technology. It's almost hard to believe that Spain didn't beat us to the moon. Notice the sweater tied around the neck. Apparently got all his fashion sense from watching imported Andrew McCarthy movies.
know what's going to happen.
Here
Here
they
comes
come.
the door, and here they come, and you can hear this.
And now, the starting lineups for your Pamplona Bulls. At guard, a 2,000-pound rookie from Alcorn State, El Gigante.
Stay together. Nobody came down this
Nobody
far.
can- no, they're moved.
The best part about this is that in an hour or so, all the bulls will be stabbed to death in the ring by a bunch of cowardly men. Yeah, I love how they hold up matadors as a benchmark for bravery just because they get into the ring with some already dying bulls. Yeah, that's like celebrating someone who stabs a guy 15 times in his bicep and then challenges him to arm wrestle.
They scatter a little bit right out in front of the town hall, city plaza there. As you see now, they're heading down to Hamburger Wall.
Oh, good, yeah, good. Someone's already down. Love it. Door one for the bulls. Bulls. The bulls.
Bells on, running with the Bulls, who have nothing.
So glad I decided to take this year off and travel and figure myself out. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
The bulls, that's what's called
Is that what people are referring to when they say a Latin explosion? No, Randy. This is what they're referring to.
see them coming around the corner and heading for the
Come on, concussion. Come on, concussion.
down.
Uh-oh.
And you see the danger of falling over each
I
other.
hate these people so much.
This bouldering is very crowded. And as John said before, very tight.
Tighter than Mike Taylor's thumb hole.
Single car garage width. I see a lot of steers.
They're here. They're steer. Get used to it.
Wait and see if...
You know, the running of the bulls has happened every year since 1591, but if you want to be a part of it, you have to get yourself to Pamplona, Spain. Well, we recently came across an athlete who created a new sport that brings the spirit of running of the bulls stateside with a distinctly American twist. His name is Dexter Fineglass, and his sport is the running with the balls. And he's the focus of our Cheap Seats Cheap Hero of the Week.
I used to run with the bulls in Pamplona, Spain, but after 16 years or so, it got a little old. You know, Richard Gere was there one year. People were ducking in the side alleys, drinking sangria. I wanted to get gored. I live on the edge. I like danger. I'm Dexter Fineglass. I'm the creator and inventor of running with the balls. Yeah. Imagine a dream that runs headlong into a daydream that also is a glimmer of hope that becomes a real idea that you live. That's what running the balls is. The scoring is very simple. If you get to the dots, it's 23.6. If you get to the bottom of the arrows, it's 46.1, or what we call a single. Top of the arrows, it's a double or a hat trick. Now, you get in the middle of that, it's a breakaway / touchdown, or all the way to the top, to the pins, is the grand slam, and so on, equaling 100 points. This game is constantly evolving, but right now it's more of a guerrilla sport. When I show up at a super 32-lane complex, and I just jump on a lane, maybe league plays going on, and they seem very exhilarated by what I'm doing. I was at home watching the afternoon movie, Indiana Jones, Giant Ball chasing him. Wow. I was up off the couch. My heart was racing. It inspired me to think up an original sport of my own, beer pong, which, as you probably already know, was pointed out to me through a series of angry phone calls and emails. Somebody had already invented it. But while playing beer pong, my friend said, you know what? You're right. We should invent original sport. Why don't we outrun bowling balls? And 6 months later, I came up with running with the balls. It's a harder surface. You're going to get hurt. Blistered elbows, pinky sprain, thumbs up sprain, mono, a staph infection, punctured eardrum. But I'm not afraid. I mean, I want to just keep pushing on. I mean, something might happen today. Might happen tomorrow. You know, I've never made it all the way to the pins. And I probably never will. But someday someone will. And that somebody just might be me.
Back to the exciting conclusion of the running of the bulls. You know, a lot of the popularity of Pamplona's bullfighting scene is a result of Hemingway's work on the subject, which is why I'm baffled by the fact that more people aren't into track and field after her wonderful performance in Personal Best. Wait, who are you talking about? Muriel Hemingway. Who are you talking about? Ernest Hemingway. She had a brother?
If you ever need to be talked out of trying this.
All right, these guys are way too clean. Yeah, they should be way dirtier by now. This is day 6. Are they even in Pamplona? Yeah, drag them. Drag them. Drag them. Let's go, Bulls. Let's go, Bulls. Let's... This is better than NASCAR. will you hold my keys while I... Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, I'm stuck. This is... Okay, this can't be legal, okay? I am stuck on this hold. Oh, God. Help. It's holding. Gourmet once, shame on you. Gourmet twice, shame on me. And trip. Gee, I wonder who's going to get it this time. Whoa! Or this time. Ah, fooled me! What was that about you taunting me before, huh? You don't seem so brave now without your Sigma Chi brothers around there to protect you, huh? Huh? Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Well, flippity-flew. Just a note, folks, if you're running with the bulls, try and avoid the spot shadow. Because if you ever find yourself in it, you're going to get dropped. This is the best spring break ever. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Well, I feel better after that last package. I know. I've never been a Bulls fan until now. And I got to say, I'm rooting for a 12-peat in Tramplona. Me too. I might even go for a 14-peat. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Bowling and Running of the Bulls. But before we get out of here, let's give out some El Cheapos. Cheapie for the biggest load of bull? That's got to go to the fact that Renteria, a former Pro Bowler, could win an amateur event. And a cheapie for most exciting strike? This one. Nice. Nice. All right, he's Randy. I'm Jason. Thanks for rolling with us. And remember, you don't have to be a pro to make it into the stadium in Pamplona. But you do have to be a pro in order to win the Amateur High Rollers Bowling Tournament in Las Vegas. See you next time.